What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the replay of Sunday Night Dead, episode 15. I think it's 15 anyway. Anyway, enjoy the replay.
Welcome to Sunday Night Dead.
Alright, guys, welcome back. So, literally in the thing, I'm like, oh yeah, this will be episode 15. No, it's not. It's 16. Me and my stupidness. Every episode's the same. Different stuff, but all the same. See, we got quite a few people on here. I see Charlene is in the chat, which has sent a multitude of packages that I accidentally opened. Anyway, I actually have two medium-sized boxes here. There's a big box, and there's actually a bigger box below this big box, which is all from Charlene. So I actually already do know what's in here. But we were going to open these up and show you guys, and it's pretty impressive. It threw me off because it had my actual name on it. So I was like, I don't remember ordering anything. And I opened them and I was like, okay. Matt, I have your shirt. I think I covered this last sometime or whatever. I think I made mention I have your shirt that Stephanie sent. Actually, a thing to add on to that too, if anybody does send anything to my P.O. box that's going to be for somebody else, make sure you still put my YouTube channel as who it's being sent to, and just let me know that it's going to be for somebody else. Um, because since it said Matt on it, they actually almost sent it back. So it was a good thing I got there when I did. Um, or that would have actually gone back. So just put my YouTube channel on it and just let me know if you're sending something for somebody else. Got a lot of people in here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Jamie, Nick, Matt, for mods. Awesome. So yeah, today was a eventful day. Woke up not feeling too good after a hilarious night last night. If you guys did not see the video from last night, then you gotta watch it because it is the funniest thing you will ever see. I still watch it and try not to piss myself because it is freaking funny. So I was up till like 2 in the morning, like putting that video up, and then I didn't feel good this morning. The display didn't go up today because it's rained all day. But early this morning, I was like, you know what? I gotta go check another Home Depot. So what had happened was I stopped at a Home Depot that had some of the skeletons. They refused to sell them to me. They said if it touches the floor, then they would have to sell them. So my wife, being my wife, decided she was going to start climbing the shelf. And it turned into a bunch of arguing about how they can't sell them and blah, 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 blah. And it ended up getting to the point where it was get off the shelf because we're going to call the cops. So we could have almost got arrested trying to get one of those skeletons. Amazing. Of all things that we could have happen, it would be going down because we tried to buy a fucking skeleton. But anyway, I know for a fact that they were leaking these things out where certain stores just didn't care and they were letting them go. I ended up calling a store today and I asked the lady who picked up, I said, look, I'm going to want to buy something from Halloween that is more than likely going to be on your overstock shelves. I said, will you sell it? Without getting into what it was. And she said, as long as you are standing in the store, if you can physically see it, then we will sell it to you. I was just like, say no more. Trying not to like vomit. Because I just did not feel good this morning. So my wife gets up and I'm like, look, I'm going to hook up the trailer on the Jeep and I'm going to go to this Home Depot that's an hour away. And she was like, no, like I'll drive, just, let's go. So thankfully she took me, so I was able to just kind of nod off in the car and try to feel a little bit better. But we got there and we walk in and boom, right there up on the top rack is 2 of them, which I actually do have a photo. Now it's going to be sideways. I don't know why, but whenever I take a photo like this, for some reason when it imports on this program, it flips it sideways and I can't rotate it. But there you go. That's what we saw. So there's 2 of the skeletons literally right there. And so this is kind of going to go into question of the week because I'm getting a lot of questions on this. And now that I have my skeleton, I don't care. I'm going to tell everybody and hey, fair game, because I really hate the people that buy these and then price gouge them. This skeleton, you look on eBay, he's like $2,000. It's obnoxious. It's ridiculous. There's no reason for that. So here's how this works. Supposedly, some of the stores, luckily the one I went to, the guy's like, look, I don't want the shit on my shelf. He was like, if you want it, he was like, I will bring it down. Get rid of it. Just take it. They're big. Home Depot is not meant for that kind of stuff. And they already know like what kind of bum rush they're going to get the moment it hits the floor anyway. So, you know, if somebody's willing to buy it, they would rather have the analytics for their store up that day. But the other store I went to, the lady tried bullshitting me, saying that, oh, well, the vendor wants a photo of the skeleton built, you know, their display, and all the boxes around him. It's like, look, lady, the moment that fucking pallet drops, it's going to be like people going for toilet paper when COVID first hit. That thing ain't coming off the pallet and going on the floor. It's going to be somebody running over and tackling the pallet to get it. So you're just on drugs if you think that's how that's going to work. So anyway, here's the trick on how to get the 12-foot skeleton or the 12-foot Inferno pumpkin skeleton, which good luck getting it. That one especially now is just gone. So here's the scoop. If anybody needs this information, make sure you direct them here because this is legitimate inside scoop. Every Home Depot is getting 7. They will have 7 12-foot skeletons. Except some of the larger stores. Now, I don't mean the store itself is bigger. I mean it's one of the heavier, congested stores that does a lot of business. So, in this whole area of Pennsylvania, the Wilkes-Barre store is actually the bigger store. So, every other store here is only going to get 7. Well, they already have them, by the way. They're only going to have 7 of these 12-foot skeletons. The store like Wilkes-Barre will have 14. They get double the amount. That is it. Once they are gone, they are gone. That's what you're working with here. Now, the thing is, again, some stores are holding out. Other stores are letting them come right off and go before the display's up, which the Halloween displays are going to be up in 2 weeks. So not this Monday, the following Monday, and apparently the time frame is going to be between 1 and 5 p.m. is when they're actually going to be modding in the display. That's the inside scoop there. I do got to catch up on all these comments. So, hear me out. If the store is getting 7, or the larger store is getting 14, it actually means the store is going to have 6 or 13 because one is being built in the store, which I think is stupid. I don't see any point in putting a display up if you know it's going to sell the very first day it hits the floor. So unless you get there or you can do this little inside trick that I'm leaking with you guys, you're not getting one of these skeletons. So the store that I got mine from today, I know only has 4 left. So chances are they're not even going to have any for when their Halloween actually launches. And every store has them currently. If you guys want to go to your Home Depot to see if you can find one, now again, you got to hope you get the right person that's willing to send somebody up on the forklift and take it down. But they will be in the garden centers. That is where you want to check. Now, Halloween and Christmas is technically garden center. That's what it is. So if you go out into the garden center, just look up on top. I'll show you guys again. Just look up on top of the racks and you will see them. Now the box might not always face that direction. It might be facing sideways, but if you see like a giant like 60 by 60 box, I mean, you know it's him. So, and there's only going to be 2 of them on a pallet and then some other odd thing up top that doesn't matter. But that's the inside job on how to get one of these skeletons. So check your lawn and garden section, top racks, you'll see all the Halloween stuff, and just hope they let you have one. You know, the store that actually gave in to me was the one in Allentown. So there you go. Allentown, I know, has 4. I didn't see the other ones in the store because I seen that one and that was the end of that. Well, there was actually, I did buy 2. I bought 2 of them, and it wasn't to be a dick. I'm not flipping, none of that. I actually bought 2 of them because one of my YouTube friends actually, and it's not somebody with a channel, it's like a follower, has been looking for one of these ever since the last time. So, like, I got a hold of her right away and was like, hey, like, I can get them. So I did. So she's hooked up and she's set with it. And I didn't do any, like, I want $2,000 for them. Like, hey, just give me what I paid for them and you know, be happy. So, yeah, that's the way it should be. You know, I fully believe in, you know, especially if you have like a friend that is trying to find something and having a hard time with it. If you happen to be able to like come across something, like you should do it. Like that's just fucking common decency. But some people aren't like that. So some people would rather buy things and then rub it in people's faces if they got it. Okay. So anyway, yes, we've got the 12-foot skeleton. Speaking of 12-foot skeletons, we'll go ahead and show our meme of the week. I don't really know that it's a meme, but it's kind of funny. So, this is a picture I found online. They have regular skeletons dressed up as Ghostbusters. They have the inflatable Ecto-1. And they have the freaking 12-foot skeleton dressed up as the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That is freaking epic. So, it's not really a meme, but it's a funny picture. And it's kind of like awesome. So, yeah. Okay, so let's see here. Go through all of the comments that we got because I see they are flooding, but I was too busy rambling. I couldn't even. Oh, jeez. I'm just now seeing RJ's sick. I hope you feel better, buddy. Trust me, I didn't feel good this morning either. On the roof was just another inflatable, like some kind of dog. I should probably do something like that. Anyway, I really do got to start digging into these. And see, like, I wanted to have all my stuff on the desk, but I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. This is a lot of stuff. So, huge thanks to Charlene for sending all this. The Walmart one is still a no-go. That's not there. So FedEx had to have done something. I don't know what more to say on that. But I do have 4 Amazon boxes. Again, all from Charlene. Seriously awesome stuff. So Charlene was pretty much dead set on really helping with the whole trick-or-treat night thing. And I know, as well as everybody knows, buses of people are going to come here for candy this year. You know that's going to happen. So I'm going to start showing you guys what's inside of these boxes. Is hopefully easy as I can do this. I'm good. I got it. So, and then on the inside, it says, enjoy your gift from Charlene. So, again, thank you. So in the first box number 1, they had to have stolen it because there's, if you check the tracking on it, it says it was dropped off and it wasn't. So in box number 1 here, we have a How many is in here? We have 60 airheads. There's a case of 60 airheads in here, in box number 1. But that's not all. There is another case of 60 airheads inside of this box. So, box number 1 contains 120 airheads. So, I'm good for 120 kids right now. And like 2,000 kids because of the pixie sticks. But I'd probably hand out more than just one now. Probably let them take a couple pieces. So that's box number 1. Second box over here. As we get a little bigger, has, ouch, a box within a box. So we're going to get rid of that box. And this has like a bunch of different things on it. So I don't know exactly what's in here. So we're going to find out as soon as I figure out how I'm going to open this up. Probably just rip it open. Why not? Holy crap. Okay. We've got an assortment of goodies, and this is seriously, I'm getting hungry. Is anybody else getting hungry? Check this out. It's a box full of small cookies. That is cool. So there's little round Nutter Butters, chocolate chips. So there's 2 cookies in each thing. They're small cookies in each thing. Chocolate chip, Nutter Butter. We've got the golden Oreos. And I think that's the variety. So that's awesome. I don't know how many is in here, but that is really cool. I didn't know you could actually get something like this where it's just like 2 cookies. That is freaking awesome. I love the packaging on these. So again, guys, check that out. Wait, I think I saw a label. Here we go. 56. There's 56 2-packs of cookies in there. Let's see if I can get that. There we go. So, a lot of airheads, a lot of cookies. Let's dive on in to this box and don't even think about it. So, oh boy. Okay, let's see here. So we've got a box. Got a box. A little one. Another box. Another box. I think that empties out the big box. So now we're kind of a little bit more workable here. So we've got a case of Cheez-Its. Oh, yeah. A case of Cheez-Its, another case of Cheez-Its, Rice Krispie Treats, and another Rice Krispies Treats. And there is, let's see what we got in here. It should say on here how many's in here if I'm looking for it. Okay, there's 54. So there's 54 Rice Krispie Treats in this. I just throwing it on the floor. Another 54 of Rice Krispie treats. 40 packs of Cheez-Its. So that means this one's another 40 packs of Cheez-Its. So that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff.
I'm coming.
I guess you can take the airheads if you want to.
I'm gonna get them all.
There's like so much stuff.
Not organize it all.
Like everybody that comes here for trick or treat is just gonna be like so happy. And then here's our last box.
Oh, there's another one.
Yep.
Okay.
We've got fruit snacks, which fruit snacks are awesome, and kids love fruit snacks, and they're actually kind of good for you anyway. So there's 40 pouches of fruit snacks. Another 40 pouches of fruit snacks. More fruit snacks.
No. Popsicles.
Yeah. 100 ice pops. Cool. This is like what we were talking about these in that one live stream.
I need a new box.
So there's 100 ice pops. And this is 40 count.
Chips.
Yeah, it's chips. So it's 40 packs of chips. And that's everything. That's a lot of stuff.
Chips are gonna go right here for now.
Okay. So, seriously,
Daddy's fine.
a huge thanks for sending all that stuff, because that's definitely helped me out, because trick or treat, like, alright, so the key thing is I'm really good at doing the decorating and this, that, and the other, but when it comes to actually getting like stuff to hand out, I suck at it, because one, I really don't do grocery shopping, and I'm not I don't know, I don't really do candy that much as it is anyway. So it's kind of like, you know, I never really know what to get. So funny enough, all of this stuff that Charlene sent is actually really like useful, like nailed it, like amazing. Like this stuff is actually going to be really good. And this is probably going to be enough to get me through trick or treat. I would like to in October possibly let kids have candy, or, you know, something here, cookies, chips, you know, fruit snacks, whatever it may be. I would like to, on the weekends in October, actually do trick or treat on the weekends, and, you know, this way, when kids do stop by, they can get a candy when they get here.
I consolidated to 3 boxes.
Okay. Okay.
Is this okay over here like this?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll deal with it all when I get done with
Okay.
this.
And then I'll put your chips on top. Just be careful.
And Charlene says there's more treats to come.
I don't have space, Charlene. I'm trying to organize.
Hey, that's awesome though, because like I said, I really want to be able to be big on giving out the candy this year. So.
I just don't want you to get hurt. There's another box in front of your computer.
Okay. But seriously, thank you very much for doing that. That's amazing.
I call it Dorito if there's any left at the end of the season. 1 Dorito. Okay, let's go.
My little one's like, I want a chocolate chip cookie.
So there we go. 1 pack of Doritos, 1 chocolate chip cookies.
I think that's fair enough.
We're not till the end.
So I gotta get something. I need to get something to actually put candy in. I gotta do that. That's my next thing. I gotta find something to put candy in.
Okay, we're signing off. Bye, everybody.
Okay.
We'll be watching from the background. Let's go. Did you go potty?
that was a lot of unboxing. But like I said, that's just honestly, I really can't put it into words like how appreciative I am of that, because it really has helped. Like, that is seriously a huge impact. Like I said, that the whole candy thing and stuff they hand out is really not my department. That's not something I'm good at guessing what, like the one year I just bought like packs of M&Ms and I handed them out, and I'm just like, I really don't know what to get. I feel like this is a very good assortment of stuff, because there's actually going to be lots of choices, and it's not your standard like, oh, I just went to the dollar store and bought a pack of assorted, Snickers and this, that, and the other that have like little pumpkins and stuff on them that show you just went and bought Halloween stuff. Like, this is actually thought out stuff. So well, if I start giving them to the kids now, there will probably be nothing left. So right now I kind of have everything where it's like, don't touch, off limits. So I do, the kids are going to get stuff, obviously. But I am trying to hold out a little bit, because I don't know how slammed I'm going to get this year. Like, I know there's going to be a lot of people. There could be nobody, or there could be tens of thousands. So at least this way, everything is kind of prepared. So I'm definitely trying to keep it on track for that. Definitely. And I got to figure out how I'm going to do it. I would like to be able to film some of that. Like, I don't even, like, maybe I'll just even have a camera set up and do a live trick-or-treat night or whatever it may be. So there really wouldn't be interaction, because I wouldn't be behind the camera. I would just kind of have to set it and forget it. But then this way, you guys that want to feel a part of it can be there, and seeing what goes on. Yeah. This is going to be a great year. It really is. And tonight, I have a treat for you guys, for a replay video. But it's a replay video that only the channel members have seen. So there was actually about kind of almost a year ago what do you call it? An interview that happened. So myself and JP Videos were interviewed for this podcast that they talk about haunted, paranormal things like that, and ghostly stories. So as a part of the things that I do for the members is I have some videos that if I have something exclusive that's like a behind the scenes thing, I share it to the people that are the channel members. So I knew we were going to do this interview, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to set a camera up, and I'm going to film it. So it's not really a, like, an eventful kind of thing where you're going to see a lot of stuff. It's just kind of me sitting there in the car talking. You'll hear Jay talking. You'll hear the podcast people talking. But it's a pretty cool inside video. And I figured it would be something different to show you guys because, again, only the channel members have seen it. So this is a chance for you guys to see some of that, like, exclusive stuff that can pop up being a member. And it's kind of cool. I've kind of wanted to share it with people, but I did want to wait till after, like, all their glory was done with, their stuff with it. But anyway, I guess that's really enough talking about it. I will, yeah, Matt, you let me know a weekend. Whatever weekend works for you, as long as the weather is going to be nice. By all means, come down. Saturdays are usually the busiest days. Feel free to hang out for the day, by all means. Just let me know when. And same thing, Jamie, if you want to stop by on a weekend, come on over. We actually had, yesterday, we had RJ here. He did some filming of it. And we also had Cole Cracker here. He did some filming of it as well. So, you guys that are right here, feel free to stop by on a weekend. But, okay, so with all of that being said, I will see you guys over in the chat. Let's go ahead and get on with this video. So I do hope you guys enjoy this one. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So today, we've got something pretty awesome, and you guys are going to witness it word for word, except for things that I might need to cut out, like certain things. Anyway, JP Videos was contacted by the news channel WNEP, and they wanted to interview the paranormal guy. So they contacted him, he contacted me, passed off the information, and they are planning on giving us a phone call, which could roughly take about an hour long. And they're going to interview us on certain things like, what got us into paranormal investigating, what do we do, what is our future plans, probably, I'm really not entirely sure. But they were going to ask us questions, and this is going to be an actual interview. So, first time doing something on this scale where we're being interviewed, definitely a little nervous, but nonetheless, it's pretty cool. So, hopefully you guys enjoy. Could be a boring video, but the audio will be nice. See you guys in a few minutes. Hello?
Hello, Alan?
Yes.
Dan Kozlowski with the creepy side of NEPA and WNEP.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I have Jason and our co-host on the other line here. I'm going to merge their phone calls together. Stand by.
Okay.
Alan, you there?
Yes.
Okay. Jason, everyone else there? Nora, are you here?
Yep.
Yep, I'm good. Okay. So how you guys doing?
Good.
Pretty good. Excited to be on the show.
Thanks. Yeah. It was actually interesting because we came across some of the videos you've been doing with some of the investigations, and we figured it would be a perfect fit for the show.
Yeah, I've actually, a couple people reached out to me about your podcast, and I was contemplating reaching out to you. I wasn't sure if it would be a good fit or not, but I'm kind of glad that you found this on your own, so it kind of worked out in its own way.
Oh, that's very good to hear. So actually people told you about the podcast also.
Yeah, a couple local people did mention that you guys have the paranormal podcast, and said, hey, you should, see if they want to have you on the show, so.
Very good. What I'm going to do before we get started, as I start the recording, we'll talk a little bit. We'll ask you guys' names. We won't use your full name like we talked about when in the material. But is it okay if we do use your YouTube names also?
Sure.
So say like Jason from JP Videos and Alan from, I'm sorry, what was your YouTube name, Alan?
Mine's Revenge of the Apocalypse.
Okay. Well, let me just start the recording. That way we'll talk a little tiny bit before we get started, just to make sure everything's recording, because I would hate to go through all this and then have it not record.
Okay. The only other thing, if you want to mention too, as a team, we do work together, calling ourselves the Paranormal Guys, just like a play in the words. But,
okay.
You can mention the individual channel names or that name, either one's fine.
Okay. And Alan, you're still there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we had you on the recording. And Nora's there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. And if you guys could say whatever name you would like us to use in the podcast, Jason, and then your YouTube name. That way we'll have it on the recording, and that way we'll also make sure the recording's working.
Okay. We're known together as the Paranormal Guys, but my channel is JP Videos.
Okay. Is it okay if I refer to you as Jason?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And then Alan?
My name's Alan, and my channel is Revenge of the Apocalypse.
Okay, once again, it's okay if we refer to you as Alan, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just make sure that's recording, then we'll take it from there. Stand by 1 minute.
Mm-hmm. Play the word. Okay. You can mention the individual channel names or that name. It's fine.
Okay. And Alan, you're still there, right? Yes. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we had your... Okay. Hold on, I'll echo there. Okay. Everything sounded good. I think we're good to go. What we'd like to talk about is, like, if you did any local investigations. I think I've seen a few on your site of some local ones.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit like how you guys got started with the ghost investigations, what kind of equipment you guys might be using, stuff like that.
Okay. I mean, do you want to ask like individual questions, or do you want us to just go on a little ramble and explain some of this stuff, or?
Nora, what do you think?
What do you guys feel more comfortable with? Did you want to just kind of like start by, telling us a little bit about whatever, and then we can ask you questions to kind of go deeper into it, or would you rather us just ask you guys questions?
I mean, I could give like just a brief introduction, letting you know how I got into doing this and my experiences, and then if you guys have specific questions you want to ask about locations or products or anything like that, you're welcome to do that as well.
Yeah, that's fine. That works for us.
Yeah, that's perfect. You guys do a little introduction first. We'll introduce you to the show, a little introduction first, and then we'll take it from there as a conversation.
Okay.
Okay. Joining us, and also, guys, if we make any mistakes, you could just stop and we could just restart like where we left off, because we'll do some editing after this, some post-editing.
Okay.
Okay.
So that way you guys don't have to be worried at all. Tonight joining us on the creepy side of NEPA is Jason from JP Videos and Alan from the Revenge of the Apocalypse. They both have YouTube channels, and they do some interesting live ghost investigations. Alan, Jason, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. So, how did you guys get started with the whole ghost investigation thing?
Well, for starters, for me, I've been into the paranormal investigations for the better part of a decade, going back to probably around 2004, 2005, when I experienced my first type of evidence experience in person, and it made me curious as to what is beyond the afterlife. And after doing some research and buying some equipment, started doing my own kind of private investigations, just for my own curiosity. Started going to local reported haunted spots, and since that time I've experienced a lot more than I've ever imagined I ever would. And teaming up with Alan from Revenge of the Apocalypse, we're able to work together as a team, doing both live paranormal investigations in both private residences and general haunted areas. And we've captured and encountered and experienced some pretty remarkable stuff. And the great thing about it is that when it happens live, you guys see it firsthand. It's not anything that's thrown in with editing or special effects. It happens real and on the spot. And with Alan teaming up, he records for his channel and has cameras rolling while we're live. And he's able to go through and edit and make a video showing any activity that he captured from that particular investigation. And together, it just seems to work out. We've been doing it for a better part of a year, but I've been doing, like I said, solo investigations for about 15 years now.
Now, did you and Al know each other before the whole investigation started, or did you guys meet through, like, ghost investigating?
Well, we met, I hosted what was called a meetup event. Periodically throughout the year, I do host public meetup events, which gives viewers and other content creators a chance to meet myself and others at a particular location. And I met him, I believe it was 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
at an abandoned school in Shenandoah called the J.W. Cooper School. He attended that event. We met there, started talking, found out we have a lot of similarities in both, the types of filming that we do and paranormal investigations as well. And we decided to kind of collaborate, and the rest is history from there.
So you guys said that, obviously you do these videos and they're all live. Have you guys ever had any of your viewers comment and say, that they saw something in the back of the video, or, that they heard something on the recording that maybe you guys didn't actually hear in person while you were there?
Actually, that happens quite often, and that's another positive thing of doing it live is we have a lot more eyes and ears. Typically, when I go live, I have anywhere from 200 to 400 people watching live, and obviously I can't pay attention to everything at all times, so a lot of people will chime in live during the chat saying, hey, I saw an orb over there, or I heard a voice, and we're able to kind of on the spot look into what maybe caused that or see if we can replicate it. So having the viewers live is just more eyes and ears to help pick up anything. And when we do it, though, the way I do it, and Alan can agree, is that we try to disprove things. So if something does happen while we're investigating, whether it's a noise, a sound, any type of evidence, we try to find out what the cause of it is, like a natural cause. If we can't, at that point, we do have to consider maybe something paranormal. So, but having viewers chime in live is all part of it, makes it even better.
Yeah, I know a lot of ghost investigators sort of do the same thing. They try to debunk what they saw, but you guys sort of take it to a different level, I think, doing it live as opposed to people just presenting the evidence that they found.
Doing the live really validates what's going on. So like if you have, and honestly, a lot of TV shows that are out there have already been labeled as, being bogus with doing things. But, if it was just me, myself recording a video and editing it, it would be the same kind of deal where people would say, it's fake, you're staging this, what have you, when the camera's off. But the fact that I'm doing that and then he's also doing it live, it really comes together and shows that there is really nothing hidden. There is nothing that could possibly be staged, because you're literally getting a full real-time experience, seeing it firsthand for yourself.
Yeah, it's almost like you're bringing all of these other people, although, obviously not physically with you, but they are able to come along with you guys on the journey, sort of.
Exactly.
Virtually.
Now, as you're investigating, do you guys able to interact with the viewers? Like, if they say they see something live, are they able to say, send a comment to you guys saying, oh, look behind you? That sort of thing?
Yeah, because when I stream, I'm streaming live on YouTube on my channel, and it's a real-time live stream. So I'm able to see the viewers' comments and I'm able to read their responses and interact with them almost like a Skype call or like a video call. But
right.
Obviously we can't see them, but we do have a real-time conversation. There's maybe about a 5-second delay, but otherwise I'm able to acknowledge their comments, answer their questions, and potentially look for something that they may have noticed off camera or in camera that we didn't see at the time.
So what are some of the tools that you guys bring along with you in order to do these investigations?
Well, I could say our tools have grown as we've been doing this. Starting off, probably the simplest thing is an item called a K2 meter, which is also known as an Emf Detector. It picks up electromagnetic frequencies or radio waves, and it's a great tool because it's inexpensive and has been documented to be very, I guess you could say, solid as a piece of equipment to use for investigating the paranormal. And all it is a device that has different LED lights on it that light up from green to red. And if you go anywhere near bad electrical work, or even your cell phone throws off electromagnetic frequencies, it sets it off. But typically when we go to locations, we're out in the middle of nowhere with no source of energy, and we get hits on this equipment, on this piece of device. And it shows you that something is causing it that we can't see, or nothing that can be explained. Aside from that, I do use a simple mag flashlight, and the way that works is just by adjusting the flashlight with a twist on. It's a twist on and off switch, and we adjust it so it's just barely off, barely on, and we leave it sitting on the ground, and on its own, the flashlight will turn on and off. And we use those two tools, at least myself in particular, for communicating with the afterlife. We're able to ask questions, and they're able to make those lights light up with yes answers, yes responses. And we ask them to leave it off for a no question or a no answer. And there's been countless times we've had real-time conversations with something that we can't see, hear, or feel, but is responding to our questions, and most of them are pretty responsive within a matter of seconds. So those two alone is what I traditionally carry. I also have a temperature gun to scan temperature readings. We look for cold spots. Obviously, having an open mind is the most important, but Alan could explain. He actually has some more, I guess you could say, sophisticated and more higher-end gear that he recently purchased that he could talk about next.
So some of the stuff that I use, we actually do both have a laser grid, which is another tool that actually has, in 2 occasions, worked really well, which is, it looks kind of like a pen, and when it's set down, it actually has a bunch of little green dots that will just display on the wall or, wherever it's aimed at. And if something were to pass through it like a figure, you will actually see the dots moving, and you'll actually see the shape of if somebody's standing there or if somebody's walking by or walking towards you. The 2 times that we've had an incident happen with that, it is probably one of the creepiest events because you can physically see something right there. So that's something that both of us, we do carry that. I also have a thermal gun, so I'm able to see, the heat signatures, and if there's a cold spot, a hot spot, and it will actually take form to if something's there, which, one, it works good for, doing temperature readings, but then also seeing if there is, a figure, but also in an instance where we were alone, kind of in a wooded location, where we really thought we were being stalked by an actual person, having something like that, if there is an actual person out in the woods or in the area that we can't see with our own eyes, having a piece of equipment like that is also kind of good for safety as well. Another piece, my biggest things are the infrared camcorders. So even if it's pitch dark, with the camcorders that I have rolling, I have some that are placed down, and then I have one that I have in my hand at all times. I'm able to see everything going on, so I'm not blind by the darkness. We don't have to have a flashlight on to see anything, because an infrared light, you can't actually see it. If you look into a infrared light, it'll look red, but there's actually no beam of light that comes from it, like how a flashlight works. Another thing which we haven't had any success with yet is a diode. Now this is a small little device that it actually plugs into a microphone, and then from the microphone I have it plugged into a Bluetooth speaker, because the theory on this diode is that it will not pick up any ambient sound. So anybody talking, a bird chirps, somebody makes a footstep, it won't pick up any of that. It is only supposed to pick up a paranormal voice. We've used it twice so far, haven't had anything happen with that yet, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed that, one of these days that ends up turning out to be a very useful piece of equipment. And then the last thing that I'll mention is the doll that I carry with me. We like the idea of having a toy because it's something that, especially if it is a young child, which actually during one investigation, which I think for both of us, I can say really, stuck with us, was interaction we had with a child. And having a toy is something that's a little bit more comforting because, to a child that has passed away at a young age, somebody coming to try to talk to them, it could come off as a little bit scary. If they're old enough, they're taught not to talk to strangers and, things like that. And that's all stuff that we would like to think carries on in their memory when they do pass on in their entity. So having a toy is something that's a little bit comforting. So that's something else that I like to bring with me.
I think you're the first person that we've had on this show that has mentioned bringing something like that, like a toy or something, to try and kind of comfort any spirits or entities or anything that they experience.
Yeah,
I agree. That sounds very interesting to me.
Yeah, because the idea is, like, we try to be respectful. You know, a lot of people that ghost hunt, they will antagonize, you know, they do it just for a thrill, you know, they're not doing it with the purpose of, you know, if there's this spirit in this house, and, you know, you got to figure, even if it's just let's say it's a living being, you know, if you're somewhere and you're lost and you're scared, you really want someone to be able to find you and help you. And doing paranormal investigations, because we do that, you know, and because they're a spirit, we may be their only chance they actually get to have the comfort and be able to go on to where they need to go on to. So we really try to go into these places like, okay, we want to see if something's here, and if it is, how can we help it? How can we make things right in the way they should be? Not just be like, oh, you know, haha, we had this scary encounter, you know, and this happened and that happened. You know, we really want to try to make it a peaceful situation.
So you're not just there for the entertainment value, you're also there to try to help also.
Yes.
And one thing I will say is that there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of channels on YouTube that do paranormal investigations, and it's a small percentage that we're included in that does it live. And that's because a lot of the channels, I'm not going to say that it's on accident or that it's on purpose, but there is evidence that is manipulated, and it's just been known to happen both on TV shows and on YouTube channels. And the whole reason is because they want people to stay engaged. People want to see evidence, they want to see activity. And when you're doing paranormal investigations, it's not like a circus show or a sideshow. They're not going to perform on command. It's just they feel comfortable doing it. And there's a lot of times we do investigations where nothing will happen, and there's nights where it's nonstop. And that's why the whole reason is for doing it live, to show that we are not manipulating it, trying to trick people, trying to fake anything. It's raw and real, and nothing happens. If something does, you see it with your very own eyes, just like we do. So I think that makes us stand a little bit apart from the others that are out there doing it. But obviously people do find it entertaining, but we are there with good intentions to try to help something or someone that is maybe lost or, you know, needs some guidance or something like that. And the one thing that works great for both of us is that I'm kind of a skeptic, and Alan is actually more sensitive. He's able to feel emotions. There's clear evidence in a video where he actually was like violently ill, and also to the point of crying in tears in the same night because of something that affected him. And with me being a skeptic, I try to debunk everything, try to find a logical reason. But there's things I've seen and encountered and witnessed that I can't say is anything other than paranormal. So I think that between the both of us, it's a good combination.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it's a really good balance between the two of you, one being a little bit more skeptic and the other, you know, experiencing some of these things a little bit more easily.
Right, definitely.
Do you guys think that you experience more like negative spirits and negative energy, or does it tend to be more, I guess, good spirits, or kind of a mix of all of them?
Alan, if you want to take that.
Okay. So as far as feeling things, like where we've investigated, it seems like a lot of those locations tend to be good. The location where he was referring to, where I actually got violently ill, for myself, as far as what I feel, like there are some people out there that they'll say, you know, they hear a spirit talking to them and it's giving them a name and this, that, and the other. That's not something that I'm capable of doing. But if there is a negative energy, that is what, you know, unfortunately, I am really susceptible to feeling. So if it's something that wants to actually hurt somebody, or if it's a very violent, you know, passed on person, those are actually the sensations that I feel. I can feel the anger, I can feel the sadness, I can get the bodily pain to myself. So it's not really the greatest thing that I'm proud of having happen. It's kind of, in a way, I would consider a dangerous situation for myself, but at least if we're in a situation where I feel, okay, there is something really wrong here, and it's really not safe, then, we would back out if that was the case.
So in a way, it kind of gives you a warning, kind of gives you a heads up.
Yes, and see, like my starting doing the investigation actually goes back to when my parents purchased a house, and the only way I can explain everything in a nutshell is there was demonic activity, and I've had bruises, cuts, I've seen things getting thrown around the house, violently ill, and I started trying to find what was in the house, and from what I found ended up being more than one entity being there. And and that's when, years down the road, when me and JP Videos came in contact with each other, and I knew that he did the paranormal investigating, I was like, well, I've been around him, I've been in a bad situation, so I'd be interested in doing it, and at least if it is something that's on a demonic level, or if it's just something really unsafe, then I at least can sense and feel when it's time to go or not go.
What are some of the steps that you guys take to try and stay safe in some of these situations? I mean, obviously, a lot of you guys are together, so that has to help. But is there any other safeguards that you guys have in place?
All right. So depending on the location, we sometimes do bring extra, I guess you could say, team members with us. We do have a close mutual friend who does come help kind of more on the tech side with handling the gear, transporting things if we have to maneuver around the area. So safety numbers does help. There's even been an investigation at the Knox mine disaster site over in Pittston, Pennsylvania, where it was a nighttime adventure, and it was kind of a really desolate location, and we brought extra people with us and broke up into teams to work safely together, so in case no one was to fall and get hurt, or no one was to kind of walk and surprise us, because the one thing that we are susceptible to is when we're streaming live, depending on the location, there may be locals watching who know where we are and could potentially show up during the stream to do whatever. So safety numbers is number one. As far as anything for protection from spirits, we do say a protective prayer. It's something that we say at the beginning and the end. Basically, what it helps is to prevent anything or anyone trying to enter your body or to latch itself onto you or to follow you home. So it is a protective prayer to help keep us safe and to make sure anything that we're communicating with knows not to latch onto us or to follow us or to come into our body or anything like that. Also, we do carry personal protection, various forms like mace. Alan is, has his own protection on him. So we do take the proper steps to make sure we're doing it safely, and basically just to never do it alone. And common sense goes a long way. If something feels off or not right, we say, okay, let's get out of here. And that's happened before. We heard and encountered stuff, and we weren't sure if it was paranormal. We weren't sure if there was people messing with us. And we said, you know what, let's just play it safe. We'll come back another time and pick up with it. And with all those combined, everything has worked out safely for as long as we've been doing it.
So you just mentioned the Knox mine disaster site there you were doing an investigation at. Did anything happen to you there at that site?
Yeah, actually, the first time we went there, I've actually done like a mini documentary on the site when I learned about it several years ago. And we went there close to the anniversary date in January, and myself and Alan did a investigation there. And for the most part, it was relatively quiet for most of the night while we were streaming live and doing our investigation. But towards the end, there was a section of woods, and Alan was actually referring to it, where he heard something, and we weren't sure if it was people. There was a loud thump that happened roughly 10 to 15 yards behind us in the woods. And it sounded really like a Volkswagen vehicle being dropped from the sky and landing on the ground. It was that loud, almost felt it in the ground. It was something that kind of took us, above surprise. Didn't know what to think. We didn't know what to think. We were just shocked. We were kind of speechless. And frankly, we were kind of scared. We didn't know what was going on. And we ended up kind of wrapping things up immediately, rushed out of there, get back to our vehicles. And we came back, I believe, a week later with several people, and that's where we broke off into teams. And we tried to debunk what caused that. I even went back in the daytime to see if there's anything evident of something being thrown or broken, maybe a fallen tree or a boulder, anything. I couldn't find anything that was logical to have made that sound or to give us that experience. But upon returning at night, we broke off into teams. We investigated down near the river. We did it near the air shaft. And we did have a lot of activity, especially with the Jessie doll. We had K2 hits. We had the flashlight going on in the house. It was actually pretty active the second time around. But the first time being there was just me and him. We basically were scared out of there. It was just an unbelievable experience. And to this day, I don't know what caused that sound.
So you said that loud thump, was that actually in the daytime? Because I heard you say you returned back at night with your team.
So it happened during our investigation at night.
At night, okay.
Yeah, we typically do our investigations at nighttime, and I would say it was probably around 10 o'clock p.m., and we were already there for an hour or two when the thump happened, the loud sound, and we left because it was still nighttime. I came back the next day during the daytime just to look around and see what could have possibly caused it. Didn't find anything, and we came back a second time at night and continued investigating, and that sound didn't get recreated, but we did get a lot of activity though.
Any other investigations that you guys did locally that sort of stuck in your mind?
I'm sure Alan has his own. The other one I can mention is Concrete City in Nanticoke, Pennsylvania. It's where I did my first paranormal investigation live back in 2018. But we returned more recently, I think it was last year, and it was a crazy situation because that area is a known party spot. When we got there early to scope out the area, we wanted to pick the locations we were going to investigate, and dozens of people ended up arriving on ATVs and vehicles and trucks, having a big bonfire in a section of the area behind the houses. So we were limited to our access as to where we would go, and also we knew that we were going to have issues with contamination of evidence, with people screaming, yelling, playing music.
Yeah, of course. Especially with a party location there.
Yeah, so it was unfavorable conditions, but we decided to press on and still do it. And that location gave me my best ever flashlight communication interaction. I had my mag light set on the doorstep of one of the concrete houses, and it was going off like it's never gone before. And I ended up making some type of contact and getting several questions answered about them being a coal miner, about them realizing that they are passed on, and that there are others there. But it was by far the best flashlight experience I've ever had as far as communication with something beyond. Aside from that, though, the location itself is just very historic, and being there at nighttime, raises your senses because you don't know, what's in the darkness. But the reason I went back there is because back around 2005, 2006, I did a private investigation there, myself and my fiance at the time, and that's where I witnessed one of my first solid apparitions. I was heading towards one of the concrete houses there, and it was nighttime, probably 7, 8 p.m. in the evening, pitch dark out, had flashlights, had a K2 meter, and I was heading into one of the houses. I stepped up into the concrete floor of it, and looking straight across was another doorway to another room. As I stepped into the house, a black shadow went from right to left, right across the doorway in the other room. It spooked me for a second because I thought someone was in there, but I rushed right towards that room, and it went into a wall. There was nowhere for it to go. No doors, no windows, no nothing. So whatever was in there that passed by in front of that doorway went through a wall. So it was a solid black apparition, almost like a silhouette of someone. But I couldn't make out any details except a black figure walking. But it almost seemed like it was hiding out in there, and I startled it. But it went right across the doorway. I saw it with my own eyes, and it disappeared into a wall. And from then on, I've encountered a lot more stuff, very similar, some more creepy than the others, but Concrete City, though, for me stands out because of the history and the experience that I've had there. But, Alan, do you have any favorites of yours?
Yeah, I would say that my very most favorite and memorable right now was the private residence that we did, which I don't want to actually pinpoint. It's local, but I don't want to give the exact location for it. But basically, the homeowner, funny enough, and this is actually very creepy, she actually had purchased a casket that actually used to have a body in it. The loved ones of the person who was buried actually had the casket along with the body taken out of the ground, and other arrangements were made with the body. And she actually is the owner of a old school Cadillac hearse as well, which is why she bought the casket, to basically restore it and, you know, be able to take it to car shows and things like that. But what's weird is the house that we were investigating. This was actually the one where I got really ill, where I felt a lot of sadness and actually got to the point where I felt I was going to bawl my eyes out. But in the back room where she actually had kept the casket, which at the time was taken out of the house, there was a lot of orbs flying around, which actually, in, you know, replaying and watching the videos, we could see, and they were just circling me. And the whole time I'm kind of like kneeling on the ground, because this was right after I had actually just gotten sick. But the moment I got sick was actually when we were in the backyard, and I actually went towards the back of her hearse that she had, and she left the keys for us and everything, and said, you know, if you guys want to go in it, you know, whatever. Well, we had it unlocked, and we actually opened up the back of it, and even though we did a sweep with the K2 meter and nothing really flashed, and usually people say that there's nothing that really holds to anything like that, the moment I opened the back of that door was when I just got hit with this overwhelming, nauseous feeling. And that's, you know, when I started getting sick. But then actually, after talking to her after we got done the investigation, because she didn't really fill us in on a whole lot until afterwards, because she wanted us to experience things, you know, without telling us and kind of contaminating the evidence, because we'd be looking for it. But she did say that ever since she brought that casket to the house, there was always the presence of this older man that was in that back room, which was also in the backyard, right where the hearse was sitting.
So, I know you mentioned with the Knox Mine investigation that you had gotten obviously scared because there was that loud noise, and then you guys have mentioned, of course, the other things that you have experienced physically. But do you guys ever get, do you get scared regularly when you guys are at some of these things? Like, if things start getting really intense, and when do you decide to stop and go home?
Well, for me personally, I have a pretty strong presence as a person, so like I come across as more of an intimidating person, which helps and can hurt and depending on the situation. And the reason I'm saying that is because it takes a lot for me to feel scared or to feel nervous or to be, you know, on edge, because typically I don't encounter many situations that would make me feel that way. There's been times, though, aside from the Knox Mine disaster site, of being physically scared out of there. Typically, when activity happens, I get excited. I'm almost like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, oh, yeah, something's happening. So I don't really get scared. I just get on edge. I'm excited, curious to see what's going to happen next. Now, there was a location that did give me the chills and questioned if we should continue. We did do a haunted barn behind this farmhouse. And the barn was partially dilapidated, but we were able to go inside of it. And it's one of the key places where we used the laser grid. We were in a particular corner of the barn, had the laser grid in front of us pointing towards this corner of the barn. And during that time, during the investigation, it happened live, something passed in front of the laser grid multiple times. You could see movement of the laser grids, and that's not supposed to happen unless something is interfering with the lights. And when that started happening, it literally raised what little hair they have in my head on edge. It really, like, what are we encountering? What's happening right now? Because it's never happened like that. It was very prominent, very evident, and happened at least a half a dozen times. And that, it didn't make me scared, but it made me question, like, if we should continue. I didn't know how ramped up the activity was going to get, but I was more so excited. But typically when stuff happens, though, I don't get scared. If I was to get scared, I don't think I should be doing this. But I think that, you know, having a good, strong presence and being level-headed and calm under pressure kind of helps in this situation. I'm able to kind of ration things out before I make any conclusions. But Alan, how about you?
I think the only time that I really felt, I guess, creeped out was this one time we actually went into a cemetery and we filmed a cemetery at night. Now, the last portion of it, it was very calm and everything was, okay. But when we first started investigating there, we would have the traditional K2 hits, flashlight hits, but we kept, out of the corners of our eyes, just kept seeing black figures popping up here and there, and the sensation of feeling like there was eyes. And it wasn't a bad feeling, but it was like as if we went in somewhere and people were curious of why we were there and what we were doing. And it was just a very overwhelming curiosity feeling of just so many people staring. And, after a while of doing the investigating, it settled and, it was a little bit more comfortable. But that was honestly, I would say, the one time where if I was by myself, I probably would have bailed out.
Yeah, I remember that night too. And a perfect example is if you've seen a movie where, a group of friends walk into like a local bar and, you're the outsider, you're the outcast, everyone, like music stops, everyone turns and looks at you. And that's what it felt like. Everyone's just staring at you, you're being watched, they're wondering why you're there, what you're doing. And again, it didn't feel negative or hurtful or dangerous, but it just felt almost like uncomfortable, like just people watching you, but you can't see them. But as he says, the night went on, it kind of dissipated, whether they got comfortable with us or not. But yeah, it's more of an uncomfortable feeling, but not so much scary.
Yeah, they might have just been checking you out to see what the reasoning you were there for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
You guys kind of go to a lot of very different places. I mean, you mentioned the barn and personal residences and other places. How do you guys find some of these places that you decide to go to?
Between both of us, he could explain part of it. For the private residents, they reached out to him for it. For the locations like the Knox Mine disaster, Concrete City, Cemetery, just basically through research and online. There's a lot of forums and websites that do advertise reported haunted areas across Pennsylvania, so we try to focus on those, especially ones that are legal areas to go to. We don't like to do any type of trespassing, stuff like that. But we do go to areas that are reportedly haunted. Besides the Knox Mine disaster, I have done the Avondale Mine disaster site in Plymouth, Pennsylvania. I've done Concrete City. We've done a lot of outdoor things just because they are accessible and free and legal to go. I have done a handful of private residence, private property stuff, and we're open to doing that more, but a lot of people, maybe skeptical on reaching out to us, but that's the reason we do it live, though, is that we are showing that we are real. I don't claim to be a professional at this. I'm not a, full-time paranormal investigator, but have been doing this for over 15 years, and experience by experience, I feel comfortable and knowledgeable enough to do this and to provide some insight and help for people that potentially do need it. But, being on YouTube for 10 years, my channel is more of a variety channel. I do film a lot of things around Northeast Pennsylvania, but the one aspect is paranormal, and we try to do about one location a month, maybe more depending on what's going on. But most locations I come across, though, are just through online investigations, through websites, recommended stuff. But Alan, anything besides being reached out to you from the private owner?
Yeah, I mean, doing the locations that are well-known areas, those are something that we can kind of fall back on because we know at any given time, it's a location that we can go to. As far as private residences, through people I know, you always kind of have that person that's like, oh, you're doing that. Well, I know this person and I know that person. So we've had luck with, a few people that know somebody that would love to have us.
Stop for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
My computer here just gave me an error. I just want to make sure everything's saving correctly.
Sure.
Everything seems to be fine. I just want to. It stopped. I don't want to have
Okay.
you guys go on and not be recorded there. 1 second. 1 second. Okay, we're back. Whoop. Okay, everything was good. It just stopped right when you started, Alan. When you started talking this last time, right now.
Okay. All right. So just restart that then.
Yep. Just
Yeah,
restart
if you
where we
don't
left off there.
Okay. So it's always great, being able to film locations that are, free to the public, somewhere you can, just kind of go locally that has a haunted history. It works really good as a fallback if you don't have anything, or if there's, not really the ability to be able to go to somebody's house or even a business. We at least always know that somewhere that's, again, publicly open, we have the ability to do that. Now, a lot of the private residences that we've currently done, it's basically just from knowing people. So, having friends that say like, oh, now you're doing paranormal investigating, I have a friend that has a house, and, or that person has a friend with a house. That's kind of how we got into the private residences that we currently have done. We've talked about, also trying to reach out and pretty much expand to where, if there is some sort of advertising where if somebody is having stuff go on at their house, a method where they could contact us and, have us go and, let us do the filming and everything. But unfortunately, the only thing that is really kind of halting any of that right now is just, with the circumstances of what's been going on lately, with the COVID and all that. So that's kind of put a little bit of a damper on doing anyone's actual house. But, even with businesses, there's actually a couple that I've reached out to, and, again, with what's going on, it's kind of holding us back a little bit. But once everything kind of clears away, it would, be nice. And, if somebody finds either of our YouTube channels, they could easily, get our contact information to send us an email, and be able to talk to us about what's going on, and, possibly set something up if they want us to do their home.
Now, do you guys mostly stick around northeastern central Pennsylvania area, or do you guys sort of travel out more, farther out?
Right now, for the time being, we do try to stay local just for convenience. We both do have families and stuff like that. Also for saving cost of travel expenses. But we actually talked recently about expanding to like basically the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, getting out to western Pennsylvania. I have had some of my viewers reach out to me who are out in Ohio and Virginia who do have reported activity at their private residences, but unfortunately, just due to the distance, we haven't been able to make it out there yet. But aside from finding things publicly through websites and forums and stuff like that, we're also kind of expanding into doing haunted hotels now too. I did do my first one in Jim Thorpe at the Inn in Jim Thorpe just last month, and it found to be a pretty, I guess you could say, entertaining video to watch. That one I did do recorded because I did an overnight stay, but we're talking about going to reported haunted hotels in Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and basically doing the premise of where I do it live, he does it recorded, and seeing what we find, just to kind of give more variety to the locations that we film. But as far as private residences go, we're, like I said, we're open to investigating them if people do want to reach out to us, but we are limited to pretty much Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey for the time being.
You did mention Ian and Jim Thorpe there, and they were actually one of our first guests here in the podcast series, and they had some interesting stories there on the property.
Yeah, and that's the reason I picked that location, is just through research, looking for something within an hour or two, and that location came up time and time again on many websites. And I read into the reports from guests there about all the activity that takes place, and I booked myself a room. And now being with the whole pandemic, hotel rates are really cheap, so I got it at a steal. And I stayed there by myself in my own room, and did a solo investigation, which I typically don't do. I do feel more comfortable doing it with someone, especially with Alan, since we're comfortable working together. But for this particular instance, since it was my first time doing it, I did do a solo overnight investigation. And the video, speaks for itself. There was a lot of strange things that happened, but the thing that probably startled me the most is around 3 a.m., which I decided to wrap up filming by 2 a.m. I was asleep. 3 a.m. I got woken up by a loud bang or thud on the wall. They woke me from a dead sleep, and I picked up my camera, and documented it. But as to what caused that, I don't know. But I do know that hotel in particular is very historical, and a lot of famous people stayed there, and a lot of history with railroading and coal mining. It doesn't surprise me that there's a lot of activity there, and things that have been reported, I do believe are true, and I've experienced. Not the same things that are necessarily on websites about TVs turning on and off, furniture being flipped over, but I did hear sounds. I did hear a moan in the room, and I did have one of my tools I was using, which was something I traditionally don't use, is a ghost app on my phone. I wanted to try something different, and this app works as an Emf Detector and K2 meter and a voice recorder, and basically scans the room for any frequencies, electrical frequencies, and also is able to visually put on the screen what the voice is coming through, like what the name is. So it would give me names, it would give me random words. Almost about 20 words came through during that investigation, and it's kind of like putting pieces together to a puzzle. They don't really make sense at first, but we did get a few names, and the one thing that happened, without going off track too much here, is that when I first started the investigation that night, on that app, it came through 2 words. The first one was fan, F-A-N, and the next word was allow. They both came in within 10 seconds of each other, and immediately the fan in the room kicked on. I don't know if it was a funny coincidence or not, but I'm like, holy crap, what are the chances of this?
Yeah.
So, and it was an eventful night. I didn't feel scared there, but I definitely was curious to see what was going to take place, and it's something I'd like to go back and do again as a live investigation.
And actually, if anyone was interested in seeing your YouTube, let me start that over again. If anyone was interested in seeing your YouTube channel or contacting you to do an investigation, what's the best way to get in contact with you guys?
For myself, I'm on YouTube and Facebook. All you have to do is search the word JP Videos, one word. If you go to JP Videos, if you want to see my paranormal videos, I do have a playlist, and it's simply called Paranormal, and there you'll find all of my paranormal investigations. To contact me, it's very simple. You could either go under the video description or go to my About page, and you'll find my email, P.O. Box address, everything you need to know to contact me. On Facebook, I'm simply on Facebook as JP Videos 81. So you could either find the link in the description or just search facebook.com/JP Videos 81.
And then, Alan, if anyone's interested in looking at your videos or also get in contact with you for an investigation, how would they do that?
Just go on YouTube and search Revenge of the Apocalypse, and then pretty much the same thing. If you go over to the About tab, you'll be able to see the contact information, which does have the P.O. box where somebody could send something, or we also have the email address, and then also in a lot of my newer videos, just right down in the description, I've started including the email, so that way anybody that needs to make a quick message to me or whatever it is, they can find the email there pretty easy, if they're not too computer savvy with knowing how to go through all the tabs. And then I just have a playlist. If you look on the playlist, there you'll be able to find the whole lineup of all the paranormal investigations that we've done.
That's Perfect. We can link to some of your guys' stuff on our Facebook page too, if you want.
That's fine.
Yeah, sure, that'd be great.
I'd like to thank you guys for joining us tonight.
Oh, it was a great time. I'm glad to be part of the show, and hopefully our stories that we told help people realize that, hey, people do believe in what's out there, and if you need help, you could potentially reach out to us.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
You too, thanks.
Okay, just start the recording. Okay, we're back. Right when you started, Al. Okay, everything sounds good, I think. Yep, everything sounds good. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us.
Okay, just one question. When is it going to be coming out in the air?
We're shooting for next, would it be Thursday, Nora, are you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably next Thursday would be.
Okay, great.
And once it comes out, we'll tag you guys in our Facebook post, and then we'll also send you guys an email with the link, and that way you guys can share it or listen to it from there.
Okay,
it's on
awesome.
all different podcast platforms, and it's also be on WNEP.com.
Okay.
Okay, awesome.
Actually, the one story that you guys were telling about the lady who bought a casket sort of gave me the creeps, because I have a few caskets for Halloween.
Oh, nice.
So
That's
as soon
what
as
I
you guys,
immediately thought of.
yeah, as soon as you guys are saying that, I was like, oh boy, here we go.
You'll have to have them over, and then they can see if there's anything coming off of your casket.
I don't know if I want to know.
I want to know.
Because
Well, if we
the
find
same,
anything, we won't tell you.
it was kind of the same case. It was used, but the guy got cremated and they had a viewing, and they couldn't reuse the casket. So
Okay.
I knew a funeral director, and he sold it to me.
Okay.
Oh.
Do you have a
At
hearse?
least that one didn't come out of the ground.
No, it never came out of the ground, but still, it's kind of used, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, thank you guys for joining us, and it should be out within a week. We'll send you guys an email once it's out.
Thank
All right,
you.
looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
have a
It
good
was nice
one.
talking to you.
Same.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
The apocalypse.
Okay, guys, so that was my first, legitimate interview. I don't know if it was a first for Jay, so I don't want to answer, for him on that one. But it was definitely awesome. I know Sandra made a comment earlier in the video saying that she'd like to actually do a interview, which I'd be open to. I'd be down for that. That's cool. No complaints there. Yeah, again, if you guys did not see the video from last night of the dude freaking out, that was horrified by my display, you have got to watch it. And if you did watch it, you got to watch it a second time, because it's freaking funny. I kind of want to watch it when I get done with this, because it was freaking funny. Like, that was just, made my freaking night. But they did stop by today. They came back. Obviously, the display was not up. It's been raining. But they stopped by again, sober this time. And was just really, really excited to, kind of look at things in the daylight. And, it was cool. So, they actually live close by. So I have a feeling we'll be seeing those two a few more times. But really awesome guys. Really awesome guys. And yeah, whenever you touch poison ivy, don't scratch it. You're not supposed to You're not supposed to scratch it. As I'm sitting here scratching it. Like, I'm just non-stop freaking poisoned all the time. I can't take this. This sucks. The joys of working outside. Yeah, it's just... Frank, you gotta make it 11. You gotta make it 11. Adam, I'm shocked with how loud we were outside. Nobody called the cops. Honestly, I'm shocked nobody called the cops because, like, we were kind of all laughing obnoxiously while it was happening. Like, and that's the thing. Like, when you do a display, like, you really don't know what type of people you're going to get. Some people are rowdy, and that was rowdy, but, like, funny as fuck. Like, it wasn't malicious. Like, there wasn't any vandalism or trying to run up in the yard or anything like that. If anything, he was trying to run away from the yard. But it was just freaking hilarious. Apple cider vinegar on it. That sounds like a good idea. I might bathe in that. I'm hoping I get, like, immune to this poison crap for, like, how much I freaking get it. So again, guys, if you did not see that video, go watch it. And if you already seen it, it ain't gonna kill you to watch it another 10 times. Because it's funny. I think I'm actually gonna watch it again after this. Too much. But again, huge thanks to Charlene. Oh, and as I'm saying that, here she comes in with a super chat. Thanks, Charlene. Always. Well, thank you for the super chat. But as I was saying, I again really appreciate what you sent over. It's seriously amazing. Like, that is awesome. You know, it's nice to see that there's kind people out there that actually, you know, like to help, you know, with doing things like this, you know, and that's the thing. I think you understand how much, like, money and time and things I've put into being able to give people the visual. So again, with you kind of coming in with assisting with my lacking of departments with, you know, the treats and sugary snacks and things like that, it is a huge lifesaver. And I would not have been able to do as good of a job as sending these things as you did. So you definitely saved my ass by doing that, because you're helping make this so much better than what it actually would have been. So that's seriously amazing. But anyway, guys, I do want to thank everybody for coming on. We will be back again next week. Also next week, you'll see the display up with the 12-foot skeleton in it now. So we got both 12-footers out there, the 12-foot skeleton and the 12-foot Inferno pumpkin skeleton. So it's going to be awesome. Still waiting on 2 more animatronics to come that have not came yet. And after that, I really don't know. Like, I'm pretty much kind of capping out this year. Everything that I was after, like everything that I really wanted to get this year, I have accomplished. There was one inflatable that I did not get my hands on, but it wasn't a high priority to me. It was a 12-foot cat from the at-home store. I didn't land that, but I managed to get the 18-foot Jack, Dr. Finkelstein, both 12-foot skeletons. Like, those were the rarities for this year, and I'm, like, so thankful I was able to get them before, you know, the stores really stocked things. So I hit it really hard, And after today of getting getting that skeleton, I finally feel like I can kind of relax a little bit, and anything else that comes is just an extra bonus. But my stress of like, I need that, I need this, I need that, and like trying to orchestrate all this stuff, like my head finally feels like calm. Like I'm like, okay, cool, it's set. I wanted the hearse for this year. I wanted the casket for this year. I made that happen. So I feel very happy with this year's turnout. So, again, thank you very much, Charlene. I can't possibly express how much I appreciate it, but it is seriously awesome. And I do want to also thank everybody that watches these videos, that shares these videos. It really helps. And Halloween, like from now to October, is really like my jump off of where I do good with YouTube. So this really, all the support, whether you're donating or whether you're super chatting or whether you're just simply viewing, all of it really helps. So seriously, thanks everybody for watching. I will see you guys next week.
The apocalypse.